an agenda to sexualize children.
Okay.
And we're talking about that. It's more overt, where they're teaching them certain things, and there's certain books that they're, reading to the kids.
Right.
Okay, there's a promotion of transgenderism. Do you support that in schools?
So, to go back real quick then to Cinderella falling in love with Prince Charming, that's not sex education. Would you consider it sex education if she was falling in love with Princess Charming, where it's then an LGBT story rather than a heterosexual story? Does that make it sex education, or is that still not sex education because
it's perverted?
It's indoctrination. It's perverted. You're saying that the government should be able to say it's okay for Cinderella to fall in love with Prince Charming in the story, but not Princess Charming.
It's perverted. It's ungodly.
Should it be up to the parents if the kids hear about Cinderella and Prince Charming? I don't want the government treating one story different than the other. They're the same stories. They really are.
How about getting back to reading, writing, arithmetic? We need to teach the basics. We don't need all this peripheral stuff. They're not even learning the basics.
I don't know why the government should discriminate based on county.
No, school is for the basics.
Yeah.
School is for the basics.
So, I'm going to summarize.
I'll answer that question.
Okay.
Cinderella is a grim fairy tale.
Yes.
Those fairy tales are steeped in oral tradition.
Okay.
And they teach lessons that you're ignoring in your comparison. You have a shallow understanding of the story. It's not about a man and woman falling in love. It has nothing to do with sex education, too. Grim fairy tales are archetypal stories, okay? And they are to teach lessons about things and aspects of life that's a lot deeper than who's banging who.
Okay.
And the fact that you're trying to turn something that can be deeply intellectual into that and make some story up like, well, let's write it like this, that is not what the classical literature is about. You're trying to replace classic literature that's steeped in intellectual archetypes with shallow garbage.
Okay, so you're saying then that Cinderella falling in love with Prince Charming is incidental to the story?
It is.
Okay.
Actually.
Would it be incidental if it just so happened that Prince Charming was Princess Charming?
That is superficial, and it's a red herring. You're creating an issue, okay?
Should the government say that that's not allowed?
It's perverted. Our
Okay.
government always
I don't know why the government
God
say one is
doesn't
not.
allow that. This is against God's plan for us. He created a man to be man and a woman to be woman. And when these transgender kids are being taught this and they have to take all of these hormone pills or hormone blockers, that is against God, which is bigger than all of us in this room and then some.
And you're also surgically maiming people who would otherwise be gay.
Okay.
Do you understand how this transgender push is actually anti-gay?
It's actually harming people.
It's harming people, men, who would otherwise have grown up to be gay, because you're going to surgically and chemically mutilate them, and that's what it is, okay? Because transgender doesn't exist. You're trying to make a spectrum where there's an actual dichotomy.
Let's see if there's some common ground here.
You have to be an educated, logical person.
Yes, okay, educated, logical person. Who here views gender and sex as different things? Okay. Like, do you recognize that gender? No,
you're using
biological sex.
indeterminate terms.
Biological sex.
Male and female.
Yeah. So, you have gender. Do you accept that gender is a social construct?
No.
Okay.
No.
Let's go back 100 years. Hold on.
Pull out a dictionary from 1960. It doesn't say that.
Let's go back 100 years.
How about
If
1828?
somebody asked you what your gender was 100 years ago, what would your response be?
Male.
You would have no idea what they're talking about. Gender existed back then in linguistics. You had, in Italian, una forchetta, which is feminine gender.
We're not speaking Italian.
No.
You're saying nonsense right now.
No.
Yes, you are. You're reinventing language, and we will not allow that.
I am not reinventing language. When the whole idea of gender, taking from linguistics which was distinguishing between masculine and feminine, and then you have,
That is
you
not
know,
applying, you're applying something that was applied to nouns, to humans.
okay, how about this?
You're using language indiscriminately.
How
That's
about
not
this?
it.
If, let's say if, hypothetical, amuse me for a second. If 1940s, scientists, the social scientists come along and decide to start using gender for the purposes
Okay,
of
this girl,
outward identity between masculine and feminine, separate from biological sex. Let's just humor me for a second and
That's
say that's true.
humanism. You're talking humanism.
Right.
That's against biblical
well,
scripture.
and I don't have a biblical answer. This comes back to what you said about let people who know better decide. That is not what we do as humans, okay? You were talking about, oh, if the doctors in the CDC make the decision, who am I to question that? We all are to question that. Doctors aren't a monolithic block. You have a group that's quieting the 20% who are probably right.
Okay, 20% is right?
Yeah, the 20% of the dissenting physicians who are being silenced by the government, by your policies, by this anemic response that, oh my God, I have a brain, but I can't use it to think about this. When it patently, on the surface of it, doesn't even make sense.
So-
You ignore that.
You have a group 20% and 80% in disagreement.
No, you have 20% probably on either side, and 40%, 60% in the middle who are like you, and they just don't want to be bothered. They don't want to think about it. They don't take a side.
When should policy be determined by the 20% and not the 80%?
When they're right.
Right, yeah.
When they're not
Okay.
deciding, when they're not deciding.
Do we, let's get back to basics here. Do we fundamentally accept the concept of democracy?
What
We're on Republic.
All right, if I was to say that I'm a primate, would all of you yell out at me saying, no, you're a human?
You are.
Again, you're using words
Democracy,
that are ill-defined.
our constitutional republic is a form of democracy.
And they were asking people based on our Bible.
Okay, hold on.
People
You don't
voting
know
is
history,
democracy, that's square one.
The document says something that it doesn't.
Right, and you don't know them.
Your opinion is instantly meaningless if you do that.